Next up, we've got Inferno. Okay, so this is the sequel to Suspiria. And, you know, a lot of directors have trilogies or sequels that are just kind of like unofficial things, like, the Apocalypse trilogy by John Carpenter, or the one I just did before this, the Animal trilogy by Argento. And they're more just like fan named, or the director will later state that they kind of make up in a trilogy. But this one actually is kind of a sequel to it. It addresses the three mothers and the names within them. One of them is Suspiria, something like that at the end. And one of them is like Tenebrae, something as well. So, which is another film that isn't in this trilogy. Mother of Tears is the third film in this. But I just thought it was funny to hear Tenebrae as one of the mothers' names within the movie. But yeah, I mean, it mentions that the mothers are in Germany, which is the one from Suspiria, Rome, which is the one in Mother of Tears, and then New York, which is the setting for some of this one. So it's cool. It's like, oh, all right, we're really setting up. Like we talk about the one in the past, and we're going to talk about the one that eventually I will make as well. So, yeah, that was cool. I like that this has connectivity like that. That this seems to actually be a sister sequel. It doesn't really have anything to do with the first one outside of the three mothers, which is introduced here. And we found out that one's already been defeated. And we got the next one here, and then we got the third one in the Mother of Tears. So, which we won't be getting to for a while because that's one of his last films. But now this film kind of follows that similar tone as Suspiria, which makes sense because it's supposed to be a sequel and it was made right after. And he's using a very similar color palette, lots of rich, beautiful colors, some cool music. Nowhere near as cool of music as Suspiria, in my opinion. This one was good in its score, but I thought it was fairly lackluster comparative to Suspiria's century. And as I said, it's not that it's not good. I did like it when I was listening. I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. But I think just coming off of something like Suspiria's, it just, I think almost anything was going to fall flat, to be completely honest. So I don't think it's the film's fault. It was just one of those things where, wow. So we have this girl, and she's going to investigate, and she just so happens to go down into this basement, and she sees that there's a hole in the floor, and she goes and starts swimming down there, and this is like the best lit. It's like in a basement at night with no one around, no lights are really on, and down in the water in the third level where there shouldn't be literally any light at all, it is like bright and vibrant, which is actually to our benefit because not only do we get to see what she's doing down there, but when she comes up, she's wearing this white shirt, and my God, does it leave very little to my pervy imagination. She was wonderful. Anyway, but then she goes and she gets in the elevator and she meets this random guy who I'm pretty sure it's the drunk from Deep Red. But she's sitting there in the elevator with him, and she's like very cautious about him. And then when he tries to get out of the elevator, she stops him, and she's like, "No, I'm too scared. I can't be alone right now." And he's just so nonchalant, like, "Oh, this is like a totally normal thing in my life. Like, girls ask me to take care of them," and he doesn't even really ask why she's scared in the moment. He's just like, "Okay, like I have nothing to do for the next couple hours. I'll go with you. Like, this is totally fine." This girl's like freaked out of her mind. Like, who knows what's after her? She could have a fucking serial killer after her. She could have her ex-boyfriend who's a maniac and is jealous as fuck. And here you're the new guy hanging out with her, and he's gonna beat the shit out of you, beat you to death. So I just love how he's just like, oh, okay, like I have no idea who you are, but I'll take you to your house. And I mean, maybe he was just hoping to get laid. She's sitting there in her, her white see-through top. So that's definitely a possible factor, but didn't seem like that's what he was trying to do at all. He's just that fucking sly, man. Girls approach him all the time, and he's just like, I got this. And I love this scene where the girl is being pushed down. Her head's like pushed into a nail, and it's in a window jam, and the glass starts to fall like it's gonna decapitate her, a la something like Ghost with Patrick Swayze. And it falls and it like stops right by her neck, and then the hand just comes up, pulls the thing back up, and like slices it down into her neck. I love how it just falls and stops like a guillotine, but like, that's been restrained. And then it's like the killer just like, no fucking way, and like pulls it back up. It's like, today ain't your day. And I also love that the glass does not decapitate her. It brings it down 2 times in a row hard, and both only go maybe like an inch, 2 inches down into her throat, which is, to me, what I would expect. It would be pretty realistic. I don't think that the glass could decapitate her at that speed, and that, I don't see that happening. Maybe like if you just kept bringing it down, but I feel like the glass would probably shatter eventually, just on bone. So I like that it didn't go through her head, because heads come off so easily in film, which is fine. It's fantasy, it's silly, but I like to see when they keep it a little bit more realistic. Although this is a movie where death shows up as the main villain, so I don't know how realistic this all needs to be, but I still liked it regardless. And then there's a scene, and as you guys know, if you've watched my channel enough, I bitch about cats being thrown at the screen. It's just something that infuriates me for some reason. And there's this scene where like this girl gets attacked by like 20 fucking cats in a row, and because it was so many, and it was so over the top and so exaggerated, I actually enjoyed it, and I was having a good time. I was laughing out loud, because it was just like, this is so fucking ridiculous. It reminds me of the Catwoman revival scene, which I've actually mentioned a couple times on my channel, just because I keep seeing it. I keep seeing like a ton of cats attacking people. Although in that movie, they're not attacking her, they're bringing her back to life, but it still looks very similar. And then we get this piece of shit motherfucker who takes a total, like a sack full of cats, and goes and drowns them in this, shallow swamp pond fucking thing. And then his dumb gimp, one-legged pussy ass falls in the water, thank God. And he's sitting there and he's like, oh, help, 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 fuck you. And rats start eating his ass, and it's wonderful. And this hot dog truck driver sees that he's, in peril, so he grabs a knife and he fucking runs as fast as he possibly can. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie, so it felt like it was the first time I've seen it. And he gets up to him, and of course you think he's gonna save him, and he just he doesn't hesitate, just stop for a moment, nothing. He just brings down the knife and just cuts right into the guy's neck, and it's awesome. I'm like, yes, yes, kill that fucking cat killer piece of shit. I like animals, okay? I like animals. Putting cats in a sack and drowning them? Really? Really? You think you're a good person? You think you should live? Ugh. God, it was so great to watch that guy die, and it was so unexpected. It was so unexpected when he brought that knife down on him, and it made my fucking whole viewing experience. And then this guy goes down and he finds the secret lair, like in the first one, Suspiria. And he gets down there, and there's this guy who has like a voice box that comes through a cord, and the guy tries to drug him by luring him in with, come on, I just want to whisper something into so sexy. Guy leans out, he falls over out of his chair, and he's like stuck, and the neck like gets caught on the cord, and you just watch him like strangle. It's great. That was awesome. And then we get the reveal that the second mother in this, one of the three mothers, is Death. I like how she comes through the mirror, and she's like, "You know us by another name," and whoosh, Death, and it's just this huge, tall, grim reaper looking fucking thing. We see the hands are like the killer in the movie, and you're like, oh my god, Death was coming after these people. It's terrifying. And then all the guy does is he just leaves. That's the answer, guys, for every horror movie. If you're ever in one, just leave. You're good. Even if Death's after you, just go away. He just walks out, and the movie ends. The building burns up, but that last shot with Death like in the background and the flames, and it's just like, whoa, I love, what a fantastic final shot. I just thought it was pretty lackluster that, you know, Death is after him and reveals itself to be Death, and he's just like, all right, thanks, I'm just gonna go, okay, all right, and he leaves, and the movie ends. It's, yeah. Okay. But yeah, great final shot. And, yeah, so that was Inferno. Let's move on.